US 421 shut down for hours this morning after a truck turned over. Coming up, hear from somebody who lives right across from where it happened, who was a former truck driver, who says it's a pretty bad sight to see.
Negotiations have started. The House and Budget A&R committees have begun their negotiations on a Kentucky budget.
A flood watch goes in effect tomorrow as rounds of heavy rain move in tomorrow night. I'll have more on that right now at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The soggy weather is unfortunately just beginning, and the flood threat really increases tomorrow night. We've declared a severe weather alert day as more rain and maybe some snow is on the way through Saturday. Chief Meteorologist Paige Noel has our first look at the forecast. Paige?
Steve, it is going to be a busy week weather-wise. We're talking about rain, possible flooding, and even snow by the time we get into the weekend. We're just going to focus on the rain, though, for now. We have been seeing those soggy conditions throughout the day. See, we become a little bit more on the scattered side, but heavy rain does start to move in tomorrow night and continues really into your Thursday morning and almost throughout the day on your Thursday for some areas. So we do have that flood watch for a lot of us in the Cumberland Valley. Really, if you're south of the Hal Rogers Parkway, south of Highway 80, you're in that flood watch. However, our friends down into Tennessee and Virginia are under a flash flood watch. Both these go into effect, I think, around 7 o'clock on your Wednesday night, and those last through Thursday morning. And that flood watch, I think, lasts through all day on your Thursday. So we've already seen about an inch for a lot of us, especially down into the Cumberland Valley, close to about half an inch to an inch of rain, and we're expecting another 2 to 3 plus by the time we get through Thursday. That's showing by the time we get to midnight on your Friday. Now, this GFS has been a little bit more on the aggressive side, but the European is backed off a little bit on the totals, but still showing that widespread 2 to 3 inches. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that flooding potential as we head into your Thursday, and then we're gonna have to keep an eye on the possible snow potential by the time we get into your Friday morning. We'll break down the timing of both those systems coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. One of the main connectors between Leslie and Harlan counties was shut down today following a truck crash. The truck carrying ammonium nitrate hydroplaned and crashed, spilling most of its load. The chemical is a common fertilizer, but in eastern Kentucky, it's often mixed with diesel fuel and used at coal mines. WYMT's Will Puckett was at the scene earlier today and has more on how this crash happened.
I mean, you'll pass these trucks every day on the highway.
8 tons of ammonium nitrate,
which is used as a blasting agent and also a pesticide or a fertilizer,
scattered across a Leslie County road when the driver of this truck says he hydroplaned and tipped it over.
Other than the traffic impact for the morning, there really shouldn't be any issues.
Right across from where this crash happened lives Lawrence Duff.
The first thing I thought about is how close that I had come to doing that.
Mr. Duff is a former coal truck driver, logging so many miles on the asphalt, he's lost track over the years.
No idea.
The driver of the truck is okay, able to escape out the top door of his big rig. Duff says these roads, while unforgiving, can be known like the back of your hand.
If you're from this country, these roads are all you know, and you don't think about it. If you think about it, you'd probably jump out and quit.
As the seasoned driver watches the cleanup, he's just thankful everyone is okay, and his home won't be majorly impacted by the spill just outside his front door. In Leslie County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
And the good news is US 421 is back open this evening. Police arrested a woman in Prestonsburg this morning during a traffic stop. Investigators say they found drug paraphernalia in Christy Dorton's car. Here is a picture of her. Martin City Police used dogs to sniff out the drugs. They say there were 2 meth pipes as well as 3 baggies and a pill bottle containing a crystal-like substance. Police charged her with drug possession. Now to an update on a story we've been following all week in Bell County, and this is developing at this hour. Detention center officials just learned the state will allow them to stay open. This in spite of an order given by the Department of Corrections Friday demanding that the facility shut down and inmates be moved tomorrow afternoon. State officials cited an inoperable smoke ventilation system as the reason for that order last week. That ventilation system, though, was already almost fixed, according to jailer Gary Ferguson. He and other county officials met with the Department of Corrections yesterday in Frankfort to explain.
I was very optimistic after we met yesterday in Frankfurt that there would be a favorable outcome, and God granted everything that I prayed about.
That project was almost 70% completed when the state issued their order to close. So again, the jail was given a 30-day extension to finish that project. A family dispute led to a nephew shooting his uncle. Kentucky State Police went to a home in the Kildav community Sunday. Jerry Gilbert claims his uncle James tried to pull his wife through a window and then fired a shot into the home. That's when troopers say Jerry shot at James and another man. James Gilbert was flown to Johnson City Medical Center for his injuries and later arrested for failure to appear. Jerry Gilbert faces an assault charge. Tonight we have a picture of the man police say stole from Hazard Community and Technical College. Take a close look. Police want your help in identifying him. Hazard police say he broke in on January 24th and may have come from the Lothair area. Anyone with information can call the police department and ask for Captain Zach Miller. Today, Alyssa Noble once again appeared in a Leslie County courtroom in Shackles. She currently has an ongoing murder case in circuit court for a deadly crash back in 2017. But today she was in district court charged with tampering with evidence. New at 6, WYMT's Connor James has more on what happened in the courtroom today.
Alyssa Noble. Once again, Alyssa Noble's name was called out in this Leslie County courtroom, this time with 2 charges, each in a separate case.
Do you want to enter a not-guilty plea to that charge?
Noble pleaded not guilty to public intoxication, and a not guilty plea was entered for her in relation to tampering with physical evidence. Authorities say she was not following her home incarceration, and then while being drug tested, she tried to use toilet water as her sample. She's appearing in court a day before the case she was on home incarceration for returns to court. Wednesday, she will appear in circuit court, facing a slew of charges, including murder, after police say she hit and killed Paige Hayes back in 2017. Paige's family sat in the courtroom as Noble once again faced the judge.
It doesn't seem that she learns her lesson.
Louise Johnson, Paige's mother, stood alongside Paige's sister-in-law, Samantha Hayes, outside the courtroom following Noble's pleas Tuesday.
Because she keeps doing the same mistakes over and over again.
The family is used to the courtroom here. Paige's family has been in court almost every time Noble has.
I want her to know that every time she's in court, I want to be here. I don't care if it's on something unrelated. Like today is not really related to Paige's case, but I want her to know that every time she's in court, I'm going to be there. I'm not going to let nobody forget that my child was killed from the same actions that happened on last Wednesday.
And Wednesday, they'll once again sit on a wooden bench as Noble faces a judge. In Leslie County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, in relation to the 2 cases she was in court today for, she will be back next Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Several agencies in Knox County are getting ready to move into the old Knox County Detention Center. The new jail opened at the end of 2019. For the past 3.5 weeks, they worked to make the old jail an annex center. The Sheriff's Department, Animal Control, Solid Waste Department, Emergency Management, and many others will soon call the old jail home. They hope to start moving the Sheriff's Office in within the month. We'll have much more on this coming up at 11. State lawmakers say it will take compromise to pass a responsible state budget. Today, legislators in both budget committees were briefed on the governor's proposals. As WYMT's Phil Pendleton reports, lawmakers have some concerns, but believe they can craft a budget bill that will pass by the April deadline.
It's balanced and transparent.
A $23 billion 2-year spending plan that is heavy on education, including a $2,000 a year teacher raise.
This is a base increase to the teachers that will be in the classroom next year, and that base increase will remain with them.
State Budget Director John Hicks says students will also benefit from an increase in the per pupil funding formula, and there's money to upgrade school facilities for safety. More social workers would be hired, and Medicaid is fully funded.
I had mentioned the 1% salary increase for all state employees. This is about an $8.5 million to $23.5 million increase over the next 2 years.
What is the total new spending in this?
Lawmakers will likely spend the rest of the session crafting their own budget plans.
Number one thing is that, with the exception of the quasi issue, he does fully fund the pension system.
There's areas that we can agree with on, and there's areas that we're certainly going to look at, dig down a little deeper in the subcommittee process.
Some lawmakers question why state employees would only get a 1% raise, with teachers getting one that's equivalent to more than 3%. And if bus drivers or cooks should also be included.
Questions today that there seems to be a lot of interest in spreading out raises across the board rather than just focusing on one area.
Despite the fact that there are Republican majorities in both House and Senate, the House A&R chairman says he believes it's likely that a conference committee will have to decide the final budget plan. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Senate Budget Committee Chairman Christian McDaniel said it was wrong for the governor to include revenue from bills not yet passed by the General Assembly, such as sports wagering and tobacco taxes. Meanwhile, a Kentucky House committee approved a state mandate requiring police officers to be armed when assigned to schools. The committee action Tuesday leaves an update to last year's school safety law just one vote away from clearing the legislature. Some lawmakers representing Louisville objected to the state mandate, saying local school districts should decide on guns on campus. Despite a proposed injunction, the new State Board of Education held its meeting today as scheduled. It was the board's first regular meeting after Governor Andy Beshear appointed the new members. The previous board, formed under former Governor Matt Bevin, filed a lawsuit saying the reorganization was out of Beshear's authority, but a Franklin Circuit Court judge denied the motion.
Just making sure that we are doing things necessary to work with the General Assembly to make sure we are doing what we need to do to assist schools and districts in improving student achievement. That will be the focus, I think, of this board and my focus while I'm interim commissioner.
Right now, new board members are also in the process of appointing a new Commissioner of Education. Several school districts have closed the rest of the week due to illnesses. Breathitt, Knox, Martin, Perry, and Pike counties are all closed through Friday. A few others are just closed tomorrow. You can head over to WYMT.com as you see there, click on closings, and see if your child's school is closed. Pikeville Medical Center now hosts a new cardiac rehabilitation facility. Through support from the cardiac rehab staff, patients are now able to resume their daily activities. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke with those who use this facility and tells us how it's made a difference in their recovery.
Here at Pikeville Medical Center, patients cannot wait to come back to the new cardiac facility.
I actually enjoy coming. I only have about a third of a heart muscle left, and that's why I'm so adamant about coming here.
That is Timothy Sloan. His first heart attack at the age of 39. Now a regular here in cardiac rehab.
It's so easy to say no at home, and here you'll do it.
Not only is doing work a part of rehab, the education behind it becomes motivation. Here in the new education room, materials are available instantly.
If they understand what's going on, they're more likely to make those lifestyle changes.
Angel Jude is a nurse practitioner with a family history of stents, making her job personal, ensuring patients take full advantage of their rehab.
We want to see not only how you are going to tolerate the exercise, but how your heart is going to tolerate the exercise.
Here on the Aerodyne is James Stapleton. He is in stage 3 of rehab, a voluntary maintenance program, working his arms, legs, and feet at the same time. The goal of cardiac rehab? To get your heart rate to a target range.
And then we slowly increase each exercise, dependent upon how your heart rate is doing, what your rhythm looks like.
And the stronger you are, the healthier you are. In Pikeville, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
The new cardiac facility has been open a little less than a month. While the equipment is the same, the larger space allows nurses to monitor and educate more than one patient at a time.
And we will continue to track the heavy rain moving in Wednesday night into your Thursday. Rain chances even continue into your Friday and Saturday. Could be in the form of snow as well. I'll have more on that next.
And Floyd County's new community center is preparing for its official opening. We'll take you inside.